Hello, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will be talking about private equity. When I first joined investment banking, my inbox was flooded with emails from recruiters. It's nothing special. Pretty much every investment banking analyst gets these emails asking them if they're recruiting for private equity, whether they're ready for interviews, etc. Private equity is often seen as the promised land after investment banking, where you'll have better hours, higher pay, and more interesting work. Whether that's actually true or not, a lot of investment banking analysts do hope to go into private equity. And aside from that, there are also a lot of people who do MBA programs, as well as people who join private equity straight out of undergraduate. So if that sounds like you, if you are an aspiring private equity professional, then keep watching this video. So I know that when I was looking into private equity and trying to understand more about the role and the timeline and what to actually study, resources were limited and everything was very vague unless you knew someone who had already gone through the process. However, not everyone has that benefit and there's very little information out there, which is why I wanted to make this video in order to make things more transparent and tell you guys a little bit about what the recruiting process looks like, what the timeline looks like, and provide you some study materials to use. So firstly, what is private equity? Well, one of the easiest ways to think about private equity, which is the way I thought about it when I was in college, is that it's kind of like you're buying a house. Imagine you're trying to make a return on a house, so you're looking for an area that's up and coming and a house that you think is undervalued, but if you renovate it a little bit, make it better, you can make a return on it. That's similar to what private equity firms do, but with companies. Private equity associates end up working with companies and trying to add value on a strategic level. So what does the timeline for private equity recruiting look like? So usually there is an on-cycle process as well as an off-cycle process. The on-cycle process, as of the last few years, has occurred around the September-October timeframe. This is usually within a few months of the start date of many first-year analysts, and it can be quite the intense process. The on-cycle process only lasts for a short period of time, and if you come out with an offer at the end of this process, then you're likely looking at a job position that's in 1.5 to 2 years time, except you have to sign the contract first. So let's say that you get an offer in October 2021, you're likely looking at a start date of August 2023. Now, the other side of the process is the off-cycle process. During the off-cycle process, the interview is more drawn out. It can take months. You won't get so many interviews all in one period, but they're going to be a little bit more stretched out. During this process, you'll get the opportunity to meet the entire team. They'll evaluate your fit, test your technicals, and then they will give you an offer. And oftentimes, these are for positions that are coming up within the next few months or are ASAP starts. Next, how do you start the private equity recruiting process and what do you need to do to prepare? So first step is to start speaking with recruiters. So coming into these recruiter talks, you want to have an idea of what geography you want to go to, the size of the fund, the industry, and that's going to make the recruiter's process a lot easier in narrowing down and sending you options to apply to. Beyond that, during these recruiter calls, they'll also ask you about your experience in investment banking, and you should be able to speak to a project or two that you worked on, as well as why you would want to go into private equity. While you're doing this, you should also have your resume prepared. So the primary focus of your resume when you're applying to private equity should be focused on transaction experience. This should be a large chunk of your current experience if you've already gone through investment banking, whether it was an internship or full-time. You should mention previous jobs and internships that you've had only briefly, include your education credentials, and a little bit of the general other stuff like extracurriculars, leadership activities, and interests. But the main focus of all of these interviews is going to be your current job experience. And thirdly, you need to study. Private equity interviews generally consist of at least 2 to 3 rounds where you'll speak with professionals at different levels of the firm. So these interviews will generally cover 3 types of topics. Firstly, being your fit and your interest in private equity. Secondly, being your work experience. You need to be able to speak about a project or a transaction that you've worked on and speak about it in detail and be able to answer follow-up questions. And thirdly, you need to study your technicals and be prepared to do a private equity case study, usually an LBO model, sometimes coupled with a PowerPoint presentation that you'll then have to present and answer questions on. So how do you study for private equity? For investment banking, there's tons of resources online. There's a 400 question investment banking guide, there's textbooks, there's so many forums and YouTube videos about it. But for private equity, I was at a loss. The only way I was really able to access practice models and get more insight on the interview process was by talking to people who had actually gone through it. However, Financial Edge has actually come out with a course focused specifically on private equity recruiting. For those who don't know Financial Edge, they train new joiners for the top 4 investment banks. They also offer online courses on investment banking, sales and trading, and so much more. They've created an online course where you can go through that training yourself. Whether you're considering a career in private equity or you're just trying to learn more about it, this course will seriously prepare you for everything that you need to know on a technical level. It comes with videos, slides, as well as tons of Excel templates for you to work on. So the class goes over fundamentals like your foundation skills in order to practice your Excel efficiency and just master basic Excel functions. There's also an accounting course because accounting is vital in almost any finance interview, particularly for private equity as well. It includes the modeler, which shows you how to build models quickly and efficiently and error-free. There's the private equity deal maker, which is incredibly important for studying technicals specifically for private equity. I'm going to click into that one. And there's also tax consideration. This course really covers everything you need to know for a private equity interview and then some. It's great if you already have an offer and you want to brush up on your skills for the actual job. Private equity deal maker includes some super important classes that go over financing instruments, documentation, financing considerations, credit committees, and what I think is probably one of the most important and the most difficult kind of practice to get. It's private equity acquisition analysis. It goes over an LBO, how to set up your assumptions, your sources and uses, your operating forecasts, your model outputs, valuation, and it goes over each of those steps through first a video as well as Excel templates with both an empty version as well as a full answer version for you to work off. So I'm going to quickly jump into one of these versions just to show you guys what it looks like. So here you have the assumptions and valuation practice Excel. It goes over a full model that you can use to fill in. This private equity course is honestly jam-packed. It's debt schedules, debt ratio videos, IRR calculations, sensitivity analysis. It literally teaches you every single part of LBO modeling along with an advanced LBO modeling section so that you'll be fully prepared for anything that comes up. So again, if you're interested, I think that this is a really good course to go through. It only takes about 55 hours for the full thing. Use the code Angela25 to get 25% off this class or any of their classes on their website. They have classes on basically everything from investment banking to accounting to modeling to valuation. They also have some free classes that you guys can check out if you want to use it as a trial run. Let me know down in the comments down below if you have any questions. If you want to speak to me one-on-one or come join our Discord community chat or get interview questions and answers, you should check out my Patreon at patreon.com/AngelaSunX3. I offer all of that on there. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please remember to give this video a big thumbs up if you found it helpful. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!